What's up, everybody? It's your boy Greek back with another video on Midnight Suns, and in this video we're going to be talking about some possible villain DLCs for Midnight Suns. And before I go ahead and get into the bulk of the video and everything else, I do want to go ahead and ask that if you guys are enjoying the video, please go ahead and make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, because it does help me out with YouTube's algorithm process, and seeing as how 95% of you guys are unsubscribed, it would really help me out in the long run. Now, moving forward, so as we all know, Lilith is going to be our main antagonist, with the likes of Hydra, Sabretooth, and more unannounced supervillains and fallen superheroes providing backup in the war against the Suns. Now, the story is set to be between 40 to 60 hours, but we also don't know if whether or not that 40 to 60 hours is just the main story, or if that includes side missions and activities. And after giving some thought on that, I started thinking about the same thing I'm pretty sure has crossed some of your minds at some point. What would be next for Midnight Suns? And that's why I'm here. The darker side of Marvel is vast, horrific, dangerous, and could easily make for a wonderful DLC expansion. But the question is not just who you guys would want to see, but who really deserves to make it into the roster. So first up, we have the devil himself, Mephisto. Now, Mephisto is an extra dimensional demon who rules a fiery pocket dimension that he calls Hell or Hades, although it is neither the Hell of the Christian religion nor the Hades ruled by Pluto, the Olympian god of the dead. Mephisto calls this extra dimensional realm Hell in order to exploit Earth's human beings' belief in a single being of absolute evil, who is often referred to as Satan, who rules such a realm. Now, he's not truly Satan himself, he's more so of a right-hand man, but again, he does tend to adopt the name of Satan for his own means. Now, Mephisto has had his hands in pretty much everything, from messing with the Fantastic Four, the Avengers, the Midnight Suns, the X-Men, the X-Force, Thor, Hela, and more. The man is an absolute menace, even more so for being a demon. Now, he mostly never does anything without a reason, so what's to say that he couldn't possibly tear a hole into our world in order to start a full-out invasion? Now, in the trailers and the gameplay that we saw, we do see our heroes in some kind of hellscape. Now, could it be possible that we could end up visiting Mephisto's realm at some point for some mission-related thing? And could he possibly show up as an NPC and possibly return in a DLC expansion? Who knows? And also, just to add this in, we do have somebody on the team who more than likely already knows of Mephisto's presence, which would be Doctor Strange. And just to get some thoughts floating around in your guys' head, thanks to the conversation that we saw the Hunter have with her aunt back in the Abbey, we know that both Wanda and Agatha both exist within this universe, although Agatha is currently dead. But in the comics, Mephisto is actually the original cause of the death of her children. So what's to say that we don't get Wanda as a new playable hero alongside a villain expansion in order to help us in the fight against him, seeing as how, you know, the two have had some deep-seated history together. Now, next up would be Nightmare, one of the Fear Lords. Now, whenever you have a bad dream, your dog runs away, you fall off a building, you can't escape the monster that's chasing you wherever you go, you have Nightmare to thank for that. Now, he controls the Nightmare realm, which is inside of the dream dimension, which is where you go whenever you fall asleep. Now, his power comes from fear, so the more he can torment you and make you live your worst dreams on a constant basis, the stronger he can become overall. Now, for example, imagine him feeding on the fear and despair of tons and tons and tons of kids and adults around the world all at once. He can pretty much become near unbeatable. For example, Nightmare has been shown capable of simultaneously holding down 2 earth demigods, an eternal, an elder god, and a genius level human teenager with ease through magic while assessing their worst fears from the darkest parts of their minds and projecting that forward. Now imagine that fear being turned into an actual game mechanic, such as you're being forced to attack your team. If you choose to attack an enemy, you actually end up being forced to attack your teammates because they end up appearing as demons or your worst fears to you. So you're gonna have trouble trying to figure out who is who, while you try to figure out how to shake the illusions that you are seeing. Or for example, your cards can get mixed up and the effects of the cards are tampered with, because again, you can't think straight due to your mind going off the deep end from you living your fear mid-fight. I feel like Nightmare would possibly be a shorter expansion, different what Mephisto could be in a way, but it still would be pretty nice to see him get some love in game, because Nightmare really isn't in that many games to begin with. Now, next up would be Dormammu, the Sorcerer Supreme of the Dark Dimension. Now, everyone knows who Dormammu is, a serious threat that likes to invade Earth every other Friday. Now, he's stronger than Lucifer, Mephisto, and a few other big name people, also even being strong enough to break a spell that was placed by Odin himself. Now, Strange, again, would be the expert here, seeing as how he and Dormammu are arch enemies, and also Strange is his nephew-in-law. But Nico Minoru would also be a major help in the fight against him, because like the others on this list, Dormammu is weaker when he's in any realm that is not his own. He's still very strong, but just weak enough to the point as to where Strange could face him in direct magical combat. In other terms, like for example, if they were fighting on his turf, that would not be possible. It just flat out wouldn't be possible. But again, Nico here has the edge, that edge being the staff of one of the only things in existence that can actually scare the living hell out of Dormammu. Again, keep this in mind, Dormammu is stronger than the likes of Mephisto and a couple of other big name villains, and Nico has one of the only things that can scare the hell out of him. So that right there is possibly the biggest edge that you could have against somebody like Mephisto. Technically, next to the Hunter, Nico is the strongest member of the Midnight Suns, and you love to see it. But back on topic, I could see an expansion that would revolve around taking on Dormammu and saving Doctor Strange, because I'm sure Strange would more than likely be taken out first. He will be taken out of the fight as fast as possible in order to ensure victory, because outside of Nico, again, the biggest threat to Dormammu would be Strange. And just thinking about the whole aspect of fighting across all of these different dimensions in order to get to Dormammu, because again, you have the dark dimension, which is the main one, and then you have these splinter dimensions, and the dream dimension is also in that splinter category. So you would be traveling through each of these dimensions, dealing with each of the fear lords as you work your way towards Dormammu in the dark dimension. I mean, yeah, granted, that would be kind of tough, because having the fear lords by themselves would be enough. Like if they were to put all of them into the game, they would be enough for an expansion by themselves. But going through at least like maybe one of these splinter dimensions before you get to the dark dimension, and you can kind of stretch your story out there, I feel like that could possibly be done. That could be done to a certain extent. It just depends on how the whole thing is done. Now, with that being said, that marks the end of this video. So I do want to say thank you to everyone that watched the whole thing. You are a kind soul, and I truly do hope you enjoyed the video. Now, if you did enjoy it and you want to continue to help support me in the channel, feel free to hit that like and subscribe button. And make sure to hit the notifications bell as well, so you guys will never miss out on any of my future content, and I will catch y'all in the moonlight. Peace.